For this lesson you will need your sketchbook, a piece of A4 paper, a ruler, a 4x4 centimetre square that could be cut out of card or paper, a pencil sharpener, an eraser, a pair of scissors, a range of different colouring pencils and a glue stick. Okay, year 6, so this lesson is all about perspective and we're focusing on 1 point perspective. The first thing we're going to do is take the square that we've cut out. Make sure that your square is 4 centimetres by 4 centimetres, okay? And as I said, that could be on a piece of card or it could be on a piece of paper, but card does work best. Now, all I want you guys to do is to draw 6 squares. So you're going to draw around this 6 times. Once you've done your 6 squares, they should look like something like this. So 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom. You're going to take your pencil and you're going to choose a point somewhere in the middle of the paper and mark it with a little X. This X is going to be our vanishing point. The vanishing point is where we're going to take all of our squares, which are going to be turned into 3D cubes, and they are all going to lead back to this one vanishing point, which is why we call it a 1 point perspective, where all lines lead to the same location. Now the next thing we're going to do is to add vertical and horizontal lines. A vertical line is a line that goes from the top to the bottom, and a horizontal line is a line that goes from left to right, okay, or right to left. Now what we're going to do is we're going to shorten our cuboids, okay. These have now become 3D because all of the lines are leading back to that one vanishing point, giving the look of a 3D perspective. So I'm going to start with this cuboid here, and I'm going to make that much shorter by adding a vertical line. Now, to help you when doing vertical lines, have a look at the edge of the paper. Now that should be perfectly vertical, parallel to the line that you are drawing. You don't want to do any sort of 45-degree angle lines like that, because that will not look right. It's got to be vertical. So we've done that line, and now we're going to do a horizontal line going from there to here. And again, you can match up just using your eye where the horizontal line should be. And so I'm quite happy with that box. Okay, that's a perfect box. And then these lines that are going off in the distance, take your eraser and erase those lines out, as we don't need them anymore. You only need to keep the lines which are part of the 3D cube, the 3D box. Now this box appears separated from the rest because we've erased these lines, and you're going to do the same thing with the rest. I would just like you to watch my video and follow that step by step to help you. Now the next question you may have is, you might ask yourself, why does it appear that the 3 top boxes look like they are hovering above our head? Well, there is a simple answer to that. The answer is, it's all about the eye line. Now, an eye line is where the horizon point is. Now, when you look in the distance of, where you are, there is always going to be a horizon, which is the furthest point away from your eye. Now, where we've done our vanishing point here, okay, the horizon line would cut straight through that. And if there was a person standing in this picture, that person's eye level would be here. This is the eye. So that means that the boxes above the head okay? You know, that's why they're showing above the head, because if our eye would be here, that means that it would look like we're looking from underneath them. Similarly, over with the boxes at the bottom of the paper here, they look like we're looking down on them because the boxes appear below the eye level line. This is something we will discuss in more detail in the following lesson, but this is just to get you all used to the concept of one-point perspective and how every object within that picture leads back always to one point, one vanishing point. Once you're happy with that and your boxes are all in a good form, you can erase your vanishing point and look a little bit at line thickness. Line thickness can help also give the illusion that something is closer to us. So for example, the end of the boxes here would have a slightly thicker line thickness to give the appearance that they are closer to us. So all you're going to do is take your pencil and draw around the outline of the square, not the whole shape, just the square only, to give the illusion that we want. Next, we're going to take our colouring pencils and apply some multicolour to this image to make it more interesting. I'm going to pretend that the sun is shining at the back of my picture, so the squares that are closest to us are going to be darker, richer in colour, so you need to apply firmer pressure, okay, to give the illusion that there is less light. So to add value, to add that difference of lightness and darkness when you are colouring, it's all about the pressure with colour pencils. So as you can see, there's quite a deep value here, and then if I want to make it lighter, I simply apply a softer pressure. Once you've finished colouring in your 3D cuboids, then a little tip also to help you increase the shadow and depth of the image is to take a black colouring pencil and apply a light form of pressure to the darkest square sides. So as you can see with this brown cuboid here, I've already applied a light sort of shading just to the square at the end, square shape, and you can see how that really adds, it doesn't take away from the colour that it's brown, but it gives it a little bit more depth. And you can do that with all of your shapes. Just make sure that when you colour, you're not pressing really hard. So you don't want to make the shape black, but you still want to see enough of the colour underneath. Once you've finished colouring in the end squares, you can see that it really improves your picture and gives depth to the picture. It's showing value as well, which is great. So you're going from darkness to light. And don't rush, do not rush guys, because if you take your time, it will show and the quality of your picture will be top class. If you need to take a break when colouring, I know some students do get tired from applying lots of pressure, take a short break and come back to it. Perhaps in the short break from colouring, you can write down your notes. So within your sketchbook here, you write at the top left hand side, lesson 3, the title, which is 1 point perspective, the date, and then 2 sentences. So what works well, which is www. So perhaps you could say what works well in my picture is I've coloured it very neatly and the boxes all look 3D and I'm happy with the overall look. For EBI, which means even better if, perhaps you did make some mistakes. Maybe when you drew the cubes they were not accurately enough or straight enough. So it all depends on how you want to assess your image, but whatever you do, make sure you write about just 2 sentences. Then to finish that off, you just need to glue your work inside your book with a glue stick